tax blacklist. Work at Chatham Views moves ahead as questions remain over wider housing delays. The police says fraud losses in Gibraltar climbed past £2.6 million this year so far. A man has been convicted of animal cruelty after mistreating a puppy. And students are fronting ocean-focused work in an international school challenge. Good evening. Spain is poised to remove Gibraltar from its tax blacklist. This has now been published in a draft ministerial order. Spanish residents working in Gibraltar will no longer be subjected to double taxation. The removal after 35 years is on the basis that Gibraltar now meets Spain's criteria for fiscal transparency and tax fairness. The move, which the Chief Minister says has been a long time in coming, follows the international tax agreement between Spain and the United Kingdom, which comes into force 5 years ago.
That agreement provides for the exchange of information between the Gibraltar authorities and the Spanish authorities in a structured way. As a result of that, the Spanish authorities have now accepted that they can no longer continue to describe Gibraltar as an uncooperative jurisdiction. That's what the blacklisting is about, whether the tax authority of a foreign nation is cooperating with yours. If they don't, you call that foreign tax authority a blacklisted authority. We're coming off that list, and the consequences of coming off that list will be hugely important from the point of view of corporate business being done in Gibraltar with Spain and with Spanish financial services companies, and indeed in the context of what we might call ordinary people, working people, who have either the need to have an account in one jurisdiction or the other, or are working in one jurisdiction or the other. And there, of course, primarily you have the rump of people coming from Spain to Gibraltar to work, and paying tax in Gibraltar because this is where they work. And because we're blacklisted, they also have to pay double taxation in Spain. When Gibraltar is no longer blacklisted, those people who work in Gibraltar will only be taxed in Gibraltar if their earnings is below a particular threshold, which the last time I checked it was about 60,000 euros. That means that the vast majority of the people who come to Gibraltar to work from Spain will no longer suffer double taxation on their earnings, and it'll be hugely important to them too.
Of course, important as well that it filters down politically, so Gibraltar can no longer be deemed a tax haven, but I mean politically as opposed to the finance centre.
Yes, and that's not something that happens today. This is a process that now takes 30 days. Gibraltar is not the only country that's being removed from the list. There are 5 countries that are being removed from the list, and that removal takes 30 days from the date of publication of the list, which is today. The consequence is politically important, with a small p, in the context of the debate about Gibraltar and the presentation of Gibraltar. It's also hugely important politically in the international financial sphere, when the OECD come to make assessments about Gibraltar, when the FATF come to make assessments about Gibraltar, and dare I say it, when the United Nations comes to make assessments about Gibraltar, because where Spain has been saying in these international tax fora, in these international financial fora, and in the World Forum, which is the United Nations, that Gibraltar is not collaborating in matters relating to taxation. By removing us from their list, what they're saying is they will no longer be making that argument at OECD, FATF, or UN in the context of our removal from this. So this is a process that has been long in coming. The Gibraltar tax authorities have worked very hard to demonstrate to the Spanish authorities, as they do to the tax authorities of all the other nations of the world, in particular those that we have tax information exchange agreements with, that we are a collaborative jurisdiction. I think we've earned our spurs with the world. With Spain, it's taken a little longer. It's been a little harder. There's been all of the prejudice of so many years, but we're trying to now move into a world where that is genuinely the past. And this is one of the first actual demonstrations of us slowly moving into that new approach. But I have no doubt there will be steps backwards as well as steps forwards. This requires that we could be consistent in our approach, that we should ensure that if there are steps backwards, we work forwards again. And I'm not going to look at this through rose-tinted spectacles, but I am very pleased about what has happened today and the process that we are now embarked upon.
The first phase of Chatham Views estate has been handed over by the contractor. The government adds that the first phase of Bob Belisa Mews is set to be ready by the end of the year. However, it says it recognises the delay in delivering this estate is causing frustration. In response, the GSD has described the update as tired and transparent electioneering, calling the delays a disgraceful state of affairs.
Number 6 says 94 apartments at Chatham Views have been handed over, with completions by buyers now being organised. It says the next block will be handed over on the 16th of June, and then the remaining 2 blocks on the 30th of June. Regarding Bob Belisa Mews, the government says the first phase, 3 blocks and a total of 253 apartments, is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year. It says the second phase has been delayed due to the need for Aquagib to vacate its waterport facility. The government says the southern half of the site was released last year, with the first block in phase 2 expected to be completed late next year. It says work had not yet been able to begin on the second block as Aquagib's water production facility had to remain operational, but that this is now being replaced and decommissioned. The government says once this is done, demolitions can begin, with work on the second block set to be completed within 2 years. It says there were added delays over the relocation of a warehouse. A new site was agreed, but the government claims there were then demands for more space. The government says these demands were neither justified nor acceptable, but that a solution was found to allow the warehouse to remain on site, while the pensioner rental block will be built on an alternative site. The GSD, for its part, says this latest update shows the deadlines have slipped yet again, pointing out that Chatham Views was meant to be ready by February this year, and Bob Belisa Mews Phase 1 by July. It says Chatham Views was announced 9 years ago, and Bob Belisa Mews 11 years ago. The GSD says attempting to justify these delays by citing the relocation of critical national infrastructure and the presence of a warehouse is a weak excuse, as these would both have been there when the development was first announced. The GSD's Damon Bossino says, meanwhile, families remain trapped in uncertainty with mortgage arrangements and other financial commitments in limbo because they still don't know when their homes will be delivered.
£2.6 million has been lost so far this year to fraud in Gibraltar. Official figures show that 87% of this is linked directly to cybercrime. The Royal Gibraltar Police says there has been a significant rise in online scams in recent years, with criminals becoming increasingly more sophisticated.
The reported financial loss from fraud was at over £7.5 million in 2024. Last year, that figure was at 5.2 million, and so far in 2026, the reported loss is over 2.6 million. According to statistics from the Royal Gibraltar Police, card fraud is the most common type at 25%, followed by online and confidence fraud at 20%. And while the scammers themselves are not local, many of their victims are.
If you feel suspicious, if you get that sort of niggling feeling at the pit of your stomach, if you feel pressurized or the call seems urgent, hang up the phone, kill the call. Criminals rely on panic and urgency, and regrettably they do a very good job in creating that for their victims, independently verifying with the banks, using their correct channels, where phone number or email can significantly reduce financial loss.
Be wary of calls from people saying they're from your bank or asking for personal information.
What we're seeing is phone calls pretending to be from the fraud department of your bank. They often have information about you when they call, and they very quickly get going, asking further questions, trying to obtain information from the clients. They have access to very powerful tools, they have data, and lately they're using also AI to further enhance. So a phone call can sound like it's actually someone local that you have on the line. Your banks would normally never ask you to provide the one-time password to you over the phone or a password.
The impact of this type of crime can be significant.
Well, it's normally a huge financial loss, terrible anxiety, and it's very upsetting for them when they lose significant amounts of money, when in their mind they're talking to their bank as they normally would. Don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed. The kinds of technology that these criminals are using is, in our experience and what we've been told, so sophisticated in terms of the AI that they're using, that the AI is tricking AI. So please don't feel embarrassed, contact us. Our priority is prevention. It's public awareness, and it's to investigate these crimes, as soon as they're reported to us.
With scammers becoming increasingly sophisticated, police are urging the public to pause, verify by calling back on a legitimate number, and report anything suspicious.
A man has been found guilty of animal cruelty after kicking and mistreating a puppy in Ocean Village. Ziada too was convicted at the magistrates' court following an incident dating back to July 2023. Stipendiary Magistrate Charles Bonfante accepted the evidence of the Crown, including that of an eyewitness. She told the court she witnessed the incident and got out of her car to try to remove the puppy from Atu and keep him safe. Although CCTV showed some inconsistencies in part of her evidence, Mr. Bonfante said these did not raise reasonable doubt. He also accepted her evidence that Atu had kicked the puppy. Atu was fined £250. The Crown is now applying for the now 3-year-old dog to be officially removed from Atu's ownership so he can remain with his foster family. The matter has been adjourned to the 3rd of June, when the court will hear the application. Well, you're watching GBC News. Still to come, we'll tell you why the bathing pavilion will be closed this bank holiday weekend. Cutting-edge marine science and AI take centre stage at a conference held locally, and the Nautilus project celebrates its 10th anniversary. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stay with us.
The moments that matter don't wait for Wi-Fi. From sharing big news instantly to streaming your favourite shows on the go, your connection should always be there. That's why we've made our pay monthly plans bigger, giving you more data at the same price, so nothing gets in the way of staying close to what matters most. Visit jibtele.com or call 200 52200 to sign up.
Our world runs on momentum. From the first light over the rock to the plans we make for the days ahead, each moment carries us forward. For 150 years, Capurro Insurance has moved with that energy. Rooted in Gibraltar, reaching the wider world, built on the past, and looking to the future, wherever momentum takes you next. Capurro Insurance will be by your side, every step of the way.
Welcome to Cepsa Gibraltar, your one-stop station for every journey. Refuel fast, recharge your EV, and drive cleaner with our AdBlue service. Step inside Carrefour Express for fresh food, drinks, and daily essentials. From road trips to quick stops, we've got everything you need, all in one place. Cepsa Gibraltar, powering your drive every day.
Some things are too precious to leave to chance. At JT Security, we understand the value of discretion. With 24-hour surveillance, our graded safe deposit boxes offer you complete security and privacy. Furthermore, our competitive rates make it the most affordable in Gibraltar. JT Security, your valuables, our guarantee.
Welcome back. The government has confirmed that the bathing pavilion will not open this weekend for the start of the bathing season. The Minister for Sport and Leisure said the storms earlier this year had resulted in significant damage to infrastructure. Leslie Brusson said the extended bad weather meant works to address this damage started later than they otherwise would have. He said the works required were extensive, with repairs needed to gangways, floating structures and the boardwalk. Combined with this year's earlier than usual start to the bathing season, Mr. Brusson said preparations had to be pushed back. However, he said he set a deadline of the 30th of May, next weekend, for the bathing pavilion to be ready for use. Local and international experts on marine imaging have gathered at the Sunbourne for a conference this week. It's the first time the marine imaging workshop has been hosted on the Rock, with the University of Gibraltar among the sponsors and organisers. It allows scientists and engineers to share cutting-edge research, with a particular focus this year on how AI can be used to process data faster.
Some of the talks will be very much about how we collect, so how we acquire the imagery. Some will be about how we process that to maybe improve the quality to see different features. There's a lot of talks about AI or artificial intelligence, how we can use AI now to automate sampling and identify organisms from the imagery. And biology, there is a lot of biology as well. So it's very varied, the people that we have here. AI is obviously growing enormously in everything that we do, particularly in the world of imagery. It's growing enormously, where we have lots of software now that can automatically detect organisms in imagery and actually identify them to quite good levels. So it just speeds up the processing of what we're collecting, because if we have these very sophisticated equipment going down and collecting hundreds of thousands of images, humans can't process it. So AI can speed up all of that process.
I'm a deep sea biologist, and I use imagery to try to understand where deep sea species are distributed, and particularly vulnerable deep sea species, so we can use that information to help better manage and protect our oceans. I think the biggest advancement in this area at the moment is the promise of automation. So having artificial intelligence help humans and help speed up that whole process of identifying and counting animals, and also then understanding the distributions of those species. So this technology is moving very rapidly at the moment. There are an awful lot of problems and hurdles, but the kind of work we're seeing here at this conference is work that is going to tackle different parts of those problems and collectively move us towards a really great solution that helps speed up our monitoring and understanding of our oceans.
I'm a research specialist from California. I work at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, and I've done work on describing new species from the deep sea and seamount ecosystems, a variety of ecosystems from deep ocean. But in the last probably 6 years or so, we've really focused on using AI to analyze our video and imagery that we record from the deep sea. For us, AI is useful because we really have flat budgets at this point, and yet increasing data streams, video and imagery coming in constantly from new platforms, and we really don't have the staff to analyze that footage. And so we're really hoping that AI is going to help us do that much faster with our limited staff. The other thing that's great about it is, as we develop this technology, we can share it with the world too. And so that's why coming to conferences like this helps us share the word.
If we want to conserve something, we need to know it's there. And, we've only mapped 30% of our deep sea waters in the whole of the world. So there's a vast scope to improve, what we know. So part of this conference is bringing those practitioners and experts together. And so, sharing through various best practice, we get to know what is there and how best to conserve it. Gibraltar is very unique. We're at the confluence of the Atlantic and Mediterranean, and I think the attendees have come from all over the world, New Zealand, the States. They will see kind of how special and unique Gibraltar is, but also hopefully to collaborate with us at the school and at the university. I think it's a real coming of age for the School of the Marine and Environmental Science and the University of Gibraltar, because we've got, as you know, the university is 10 years old. So to be in the same conversation as some of these big institutes, 100 years old universities, is such a kind of proud moment for the university. So we've got students from all over the world. We now have scientists coming from all over the world to share knowledge, and we're part of that conversation.
Pilates instructor Charlotte Bailey is focusing an upcoming course on new mothers, aiming to create a healthy routine for minds and bodies that also provides them with a support system and a sense of community. Charlotte is prioritising flexibility as she tells mums that she wants to make her course as accessible as possible. She spoke with Kellyanne Borge.
There's a lot of mums in Gibraltar that maybe might be having things like postnatal depression and not really sure who they are anymore. So we wanted to create this routine because research shows for new mums that building a routine is essential to not only for baby, for mummy as well. So having those classes to get you out of the house, even if you've had a dreadful night, and we've put the sessions on a little bit later in the morning, so you still have a little bit of a nap and then come out the house and participate in those sessions.
After your body has gone through so many changes, during the pregnancy and then also postpartum, how important is it for a woman to feel strong in themselves again?
It's very important that you don't feel that pressure as a new mum to bounce back into fitness. I think
it's widely known that the term bounce back, it should just be cancelled.
Get rid of it. I don't want to hear it anymore.
No one needs to bounce back. but about feeling strong and feeling healthy and confident is the main thing.
Exactly. What I'm trying to do with Core Life Baby is make it as accessible as possible. So if you want to leave baby at home with daddy or granny, you're welcome to do that. If you want to bring baby in a sling, if you want to bring them in the carry cot, if you want to leave them for coffee with granny while you go to your class, we'll make it happen. So I understand we have to do our best. I'm here to support and would really love some cuddles. So I'd be more than happy to help if you want to give me your baby while you do. A little bit of work is better than nothing. So the way that I'm planning these sessions is in small chunks. So we'll have a 15-minute slot at the start, which will be low impact, which focuses on breathwork, pelvic floor. So you're getting the main things done. And then we'll focus on to a different section. And if baby does wake up, don't worry, you've still done something. So we'll figure it out. We've got to keep going.
The Nautilus project is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. As part of the event, schools on the Rock have put together projects for the Nautilus World Ocean Day School competition under the theme Where Youth Leads, Ocean Wins.
St Paul's Lower Primary took to Casemates Square to show what they've learned through their project-based learning on the Nautilus project. From bright displays to original songs, the pupils enjoyed bringing their schoolwork to life.
It's part of the project that we're doing. Use less plastic and throw them in the bin. To learn that how the sea creatures live.
Sustainability team in school, and we've always from the very beginning supported the Nautilus project, so we put our hats on and had a really good think about what we could do that was a little bit out of the box and a bit different this time round, and we wanted our pupils to have a voice and for them to showcase what they've learned throughout all these years. So that's how it really came about, and we also wanted to include nursery, so it's been a whole school community project that we've done ourselves in school.
I think that they've enjoyed every part of it. I think it's been a very educational experience for them as well, and I think that it's very important for children to realize that even though they're little, their voices matter and they can make a difference to the community. And with events like these, they can show that little actions can have a big difference and that they can inspire others to help.
On the other end of town, St Anne's Upper Primary proudly wore T-shirts they'd decorated themselves for the occasion.
First of all, you may be wondering, what is the Nautilus Project? Well, the Nautilus Project is an organisation to help protect Gibraltar's marine life. They educate students on our seas, have a beach clean-up every year, run the Gibraltar Seagrass Restoration Project, and much more.
We've been learning keep the ocean clean.
So basically, you have to keep the ocean clean because we don't want rubbish in the ocean since it's not a big rubbish bin. We've kind of just been learning about the Nautilus project and how it's been going for 10 years.
We've been doing a lot of stuff like this and showing a lot of stuff to the charity.
The schools are taking part in the 10th edition of the Nautilus World Ocean Day School Competition. The winners will be announced on World Oceans Day, the 8th of June.
And that's all from the GBC News team for now. Don't forget you can always catch up on our website and social media pages. Tonight we leave you with images of a changing Gibraltar. Demolition works at the Victoria Stadium have now been completed, bringing down one of our most familiar sporting landmarks. As a new chapter begins for the site, these pictures also serve as a reminder of the many memories made there over the years. Enjoy your evening. Good night.
Looking for insurance that covers every part of your life? From your car, home and motorbike to your health, pets, boat and travel, we've got it all covered. We make insurance simple, clear and tailored to you. Visit us at 68 Irish Town, Monday to Friday 9 to 5:30 or Saturdays 10 till 2. Call 200 44628 or email gibraltar@ibexinsure.com. Ibex Insurance, making life easier.